The tree that does not know how old it is. In the small Mexican town of Santa Maria del Tule, 10 kilometers from Oaxaca City, stands a tree that leaves people speechless. Its trunk has a circumference of 42 meters and a diameter of 14 meters and 5 centimeters. For comparison, the average European apartment is about 70 square meters. The cross-section of this tree alone occupies nearly as much. Its volume is between 700 and 800 cubic meters, and its weight is estimated at 630 tons, roughly the equivalent of 3 blue whales, the heaviest animals ever to have lived on Earth. And all of this has been built up by a single organism. Without any outside intervention, its species is Taxodium mucronatum, a cypress known to the Aztecs as ahuehuete, which in Nahuatl literally means old man of the water. This is not a poetic metaphor, but biological precision. The area where it grows today was once a lake and marsh covered in reeds. That is precisely where the town's name comes from. The cypress found its ideal habitat: constant moisture, deep groundwater, mild climate, and it made the most of it for centuries. Exactly how many centuries is the question around which science is honest about its ignorance. Estimates range between 1,200 and 3,000 years, and a hypothesis of 6,000 years has even been put forward. The best scientific estimate, based on growth rates, is between 1,433 and 1,600 years. Zapotec. Tradition holds that the tree was planted by a priest of the wind god Ixicatl about 1,400 years ago, and this aligns with the scientific data. There is no need to choose. Mythology and dendrochronology have, by coincidence, arrived at the same number. Long before genetic laboratories existed, researchers believed that such a trunk was physically impossible for a single organism. It was assumed that its size could only be explained if several trees had merged in one place. Modern DNA analysis, however, confirmed that Tule is a single individual. This does not rule out a more nuanced hypothesis. The tree may comprise several trunks grown from one root, from one genetic organism. In other words, it is one, but it is not simple. A borderline case between individual and colony that forces biologists to rethink the very concept of tree. The longer you stand before it, the more you stop looking at it as a tree and start reading it as a text. In its gnarled bark, visitors find human faces, lions, jaguars, elephants, a whole array of forms that appeared without anyone's intervention. Local children officially guide tourists and point out the figures. Some see a deer, others a camel, others still a human profile. The tree is so old and so twisted by time that it has become something like a natural Rorschach test. Everyone sees a different story in it. Its story, however, has a troubling chapter. At the end of the 19th century, the tree was threatened with drying out and has been regularly watered ever since. Today, the threat is more systemic and less visible. Increased urbanization and irrigated agriculture are putting pressure on the groundwater, and during the dry season, the water table drops by more than 6 meters. A tree that survived 2 millennia is now fighting not natural disasters, but sewage pipes and irrigation systems. Tule is the widest tree in the world by trunk diameter, a category in which it has no rival. It is not the largest by volume, that is the General Sherman sequoia in California. Nor is it the oldest. A Norwegian spruce nicknamed Old Chico claims more than 9,500 years, albeit with an incomparably thinner trunk. But Tule occupies its niche with such conviction that the Guinness Book of Records officially recognizes it. And the town lives literally off it. Around 75% of the municipality's working population is employed in tourism around the tree. A single organism that took root more than 1,000 years ago now feeds an entire town.